Game 2 of the Summer League. What happened? Let's dive in. You're listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So first things first is I got a comment the other day of basically kind of trolling me for having good vibes in basketball, saying that there is no good vibes in basketball. But I want to just point out the fact that I like to have good vibes. I know that there are a lot of bad vibes, especially within Nuggets universe right now. People are still hating on Jamal Murray, even though we lifted the big cap space with offloading Michael Porter Jr.'s contract. But like all this negativity has got to stop. I just don't. There's too much negative in the world. Let's try not to bleed negativity into sports. We go to sports to escape from real life, right? So I like to keep it positive. Let's keep it positive. I know sometimes even I get frustrated, and there's going to be a lot of negative stuff to this game that we saw today. If you didn't see it, there's going to be a lot of negative, but I'm still going to try to challenge myself to be positive, because this is Summer League. There's not a lot that you can really gain from winning in Summer League. The only thing that you really use Summer League for, same thing with postseason or preseason, is you look at how the matchups are going to be. Who are you going to be able to use during the regular season and the playoffs? All right, regular season, you're still kind of gauging that too, and you're kind of figuring out who your best players are going to be in playoffs. But Summer League, you're trying to fill out the two-way contracts. Preseason, you're trying to figure out who the best lineups are going to be for regular season, and then in regular season, you're trying to figure out who's going to be the best stretch for you down the end there in the postseason. So I'm just kind of sick of the negative vibes. Let's try to be positive. And if you see this and you feel negative and you want to post, I mean, just second question yourself, and try to challenge yourself. I'm challenging you to be positive. If you've got a negative attitude, I'm challenging you. Try to be positive. Try to prove me wrong that you can actually be positive. I'd like to see that. So let's get into, we got Summer League going on. Finally, we got some Nuggets games. It's been a little bit over a month. I think like 2 months now it's been without any Nuggets games. Now we finally got it. We're still in the heat of all of this trade shit that's going on with the Valanciunas. The Porter signing is official. We no longer have Porter on the Nuggets. He's in Brooklyn. Godspeed. And Brooklyn, please take care of our MPJ for us. But welcome Cam. Cam is on the Nuggets now, and we got Tim Hardaway Jr., we got Bruce Brown. I mean, it's looking up. It's looking all Millhouse for the Nuggets now, right? The only issue is the two-way contracts, if they're going to sign another point guard, and then Valanciunas. And there's been a lot of hearsay, she says, he says, kind of rumors bouncing around everywhere, and no one knows what's going on with Valanciunas. Okay, we have zero updates right now. We are in the limbo of limboists of news with that. So the only thing that we can garner is that there's possibly a scenario where Jokic called him up or visited him or whatever and got some good vibes going on there, and hopefully he will be the backup center. I mean, the Nuggets seem to be fairly confident that he will be the backup center. And if that's the case, welcome, Val. I hope that we get a video of him saying he wants to be in Denver, because that would definitely help me. I don't know about you, but that will definitely help me feel better about the whole situation. But, that's not until regular season, or really training camp, which isn't until September. It's July. So I'm not worried too much about that right now. Let's dive into Summer League. So I was at the first game of Summer League, which was, Friday? I think it was Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday? Friday. I am so lost on time right now. But it was one of those. It was the 11th, I think. I'm so lost in time. But I was at the first game, the game against the Bucks. Man, if you haven't seen my recap already of it, go check it out on the YouTube page. It's there for you. First, when I uploaded it, it got blocked because the music that I download from Envato, for some reason didn't pass the copyright tests, but I have the license for it, so all I had to do was upload that. Though most of the time they usually flag my videos, and this time around YouTube actually blocked the video, which sucked, and it kind of hurt the views there, but now it's kind of bouncing back. So if you haven't checked it out, please do me a favor and go check that out. I put a lot of effort into creating that video, and it was fun. I'm gonna say this for one thing. Summer League is so much more fun than All-Star Weekend. I will say that. Now, having been to All-Star Weekend and Summer League's so much more fun, y'all. It is so much more fun. It is so much more packed, for sure. I mean, I thought All-Star Weekend was packed. I had trouble finding a seat, but I found a seat in the main area for practice in the lower area, in the lower seating area. Summer League, you couldn't find a seat. I almost started to think that I might have to pay someone to sit in their spot that they were saving for a ghost who never showed up. Like, that's how freaking packed it was in Summer League. In the Thomas Mack Center, man, everyone wanted to see Cooper Flagg versus Bronny James. Everyone wanted to see it. And I actually left, I think, after the first half or whatever, because I got to go check out my Nuggets. And I actually thought at first that the main center, the Thomas Mack Center, was actually the Cox Pavilion. It's not. It's the Thomas Mack Center, and they're two separate things. And the way that you actually find the Cox Pavilion is you go behind the food stand, and there you have a full court, and not so much a full stadium, but more of like a training court. That's where the Nuggets were playing. They were playing in the backyard of basically the main center, which was holding the Lakers versus Mavs. And that just kind of feels right, where NBA kind of, the respect from NBA to Nuggets kind of has us right now, is in the backyard. We're not in the main center. We're not in the house. We're in the backyard. But it was still, I thought I was going to be sitting on like a high school bench in the basketball court. No, there was actually an actual seat that I was sitting in, and I actually had a cup holder for it. So the seats were actually better in there than they were in the Mack Center, because the Mack Center, you didn't even have a cup holder, but you did have more seats, and it was more legit. So that was pretty. I was glad to have the cup holder. Never underestimate the small things. But so I got in there, and the first game that I actually caught was the tail end of the Sacramento versus Magic game. And I was kind of rooting for the Magic, because being a Nuggets fan, I don't know if any of you Nuggets fans out there, you kind of feel the same way of, screw Sacramento. They can take their beam and hit the road. I can't stand that beam. But then also, and I know that there's like a player or two that's on the Sacramento Kings that's from Colorado or went to Colorado. I'm also looking at the fact that Tristan da Silva plays on the Magic, and he actually went to the same university as I went to. So we both have the same alma mater of the CU Buffs. So I'm going to back up my guy. Da Silva is definitely one of my guys. I dig him, and so I was rooting for the Magic. Unfortunately, the Magic didn't get it done. They lost by 3, but they battled back. Man, did they battle back in the last 2 minutes. They were like down by 12, and they managed to make it a 3-point game by the very last possession. So hats off to Magic for battling back with down that much. I wish the Nuggets could have done that tonight, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. But props to Sacramento for getting the job done. And then we moved to the Nuggets-Bucks game, which, had a lot of similarities with tonight's game, of a decent start, and then a not so good second quarter, and then a fantastic third quarter, but then ultimately we lose it in the fourth quarter. And there's just something about Nuggets losing it in the fourth quarter. It's translating not just to the regular starters, but also into Summer League. And it's kind of weird. I don't know what it's all about. I mean, at least the starters of the actual roster have an excuse. They played, 82, more than 82 games, and they're gassed. And so that's kind of what, Summer League is all about, is trying to find their backups. I mean, we have, I know the bench that we already have, but we need the backup. We need to be deeper, right? So the Nuggets losing that game in a buzzer beater was just salt on the wound. Now, when I got in, I sat down and I was right behind the Sacramento team, and I was so hoping, I was praying that I was going to be on the same end for the Nuggets. Game started, I was on the end of the Bucks. Luckily, there was actually some more Nuggets fans around me than I was thinking it was going to be. But lo and behold, there were Bucks fans, and there was one Bucks fan, two Bucks fans or whatever, right directly in front of me, this girl who was very loud. And I didn't start off really being vocal. I probably should have been, but I was alone and I didn't feel really comfortable shouting out and being that guy, that annoying guy that we all, can't stand. I didn't want to be him, but just something about someone else being super loud that kind of makes you want to be loud. You know what I'm saying? So I started getting a little bit louder for sure. And as soon as we were making steals, we're making dunks, we're making awesome plays, Holmes gets a nice 3. I was up and cheering let's go Nuggets. But that last freaking possession, that was killer. And to be honest, it looked like the Nuggets were going to blow the Bucks out. But their defense beyond the arc, I got to tell you, it was very reminiscent of this past season, the 24-25 season, where the Nuggets also did not do a good job of guarding the arc. And here we are in Summer League, they still not guarding the arc very well. And they allowed, I think it was 4 consecutive threes. That is just ridiculous. Man, but it's not about winning for Summer League. I mean, it is great. It would make it a lot better, but it's not about that. It's about seeing who is producing for you. And going into it, I was already pretty excited about DaRon Holmes. I was really bummed that he didn't get to play this last season. I think he could have been a great addition to the Nuggets, at least a lot better than Zeke, or at least helping out in some areas. But it was his first game back, his first legit game back since his Achilles tendon tear. And so, a lot of us were kind of worried if he was going to produce well enough. And he actually came out. He was balling. I'm not going to lie. He was balling, and I was so proud of him. He stepped up. But then now today, it was a little different situation. His second game back, he was gassed, and you could see it. So, but still, he did a great job in that first game, and I got to meet him. I don't know if you saw any of my posts. I posted on X as well as on Instagram, and also I don't think I posted it in my recap. So let me just tell you now, I met DaRon Holmes, and he is a very nice guy. He is such a nice guy. Here, I'll put up the picture right here, or here. He is such a nice guy. But look how he makes me look like a hobbit. This dude is freaking tall, man. They're all tall, but man, the guys who play 4 and 5, oh man, they are trees. They are walking trees. I kid you not. I also met Tamar Bates. And Tamar Bates is more of my height. I was actually almost looking at him eye to eye. I mean, I'm 5'10", so he's a little bit. I think he's 6'4", 6'5", something like that. So he's not super tall like DaRon Holmes or Peyton Watson. And so that was nice to be able to talk to him. And they're both great dudes, man. They're really great. And to be able to, have some one-on-one time with them, get to know them and everything before they become him, it's a really special time. So I actually am going to go back. I'm going to go back on Tuesday. That's the Nuggets versus the Raptors. And hopefully I'll be able to, talk to the guys a little bit more. I was hanging with the DNVR people on the first game, and didn't get the credentials that I got with the Warriors and everything, but still was able to tag along with them in some things, and it was always a pleasure to work with those guys, man, and to be around them and talk to them. They're very educated in the game of basketball. But I asked Tamar Bates what he's most excited about with the Nuggets, and he said, in regards to Jokic, making it easy for him, that they're going to he's going to draw all of the attention away from Tamar Bates to be able to just stand there and put up a bucket. And that's kind of more or less the consistent thing with most people getting ready to play with Jokic. And I don't know if you saw the video of Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway Jr. They were on a podcast together, Old Man in the Three or something like that. And they both were asked the same question, essentially, of what are you looking most forward to playing with Jokic? And they both smiled and said, not having to play against him. And that just shows it right there, man. Like, everyone loves not having to play against him. They love playing with him. It is such a difficult task to play against Jokic. And you don't have that same feeling about SGA, about LeBron. People love playing against those guys, but Jokic, not many people like playing against Jokic. Even Ant, who trashes the Nuggets all the time, he don't like playing against Jokic. Jokic is an elite player. He is so smart. He is the elite of chess players in basketball that you can find. He is, oh man, his IQ, his basketball IQ is just through the roof. And I swear, if Booth hadn't have given away our pieces at the end of 23, we would have had at least one more chip by now. But I'm feeling good about this year. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling really good about this year, and I'm hoping, let's knock on some wood, cross our eyes, do whatever you want, throw some salt over your sugar or your shoulder. Like, let's get it, man. We're going to win this chip. Number 2 is coming up. So, but great guys. Tamar Bates, DaRon Holmes II, they're all great. They're both great guys. Really humble. You got to be humble if you're willing to talk to someone, and especially someone that you've never met before and who you don't even know. Like, they come from good background, I think. So, I'm really excited to see them both grow and especially grow as Nuggets. So I got a funny story, though, with DaRon Holmes. I don't know if you've ever met a famous person or someone who is of a professional athlete status, but I'm big on DaRon Holmes. I've liked him ever since we got him. And I was starting to geek out, and I don't geek out very much anymore around celebrities. I've been in the film industry. I kind of just take a moment and chill, and it's like, okay, they're people too. They do what they do, whatever. I definitely was geeking out when I went to the Warriors game, and I was in the locker room with DeAndre Jordan, Russell Westbrook, Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, Michael Porter Jr., like all of them. They were in there. I even saw Jokic, but I didn't get close enough to him. But I geeked out in that moment, right? And I was really good at being professional and not letting my inner fan break out. But this was a different scenario. Because I was standing there with Eric of the DNVR, and DNVR, they were trying to get DaRon Holmes or Tamar Bates on and have a guest appearance onto the show that were going live. And so they were waiting, and I was just waiting for him, and I had my earbud in. I was listening to the podcast that was going live as well. And all of a sudden I see, hey, you want a picture? You want a picture? And I look over, and it's one of DaRon Holmes' guys calling me over to take a picture, because he saw that I was wearing a Nuggets jersey. I was waiting there. He thought maybe, I was waiting to get a picture or something with him. So he's like, you want to get a picture? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I went over, and I took a picture with him. That's the one that you saw. And afterwards, I just told him, I'm really excited to see you grow as a Nugget and to see how you play in this season. And he said, much love, appreciate that a lot. And then for some reason, I don't know why, my mind went to this and it was blurted it out. Sometimes I say some stupid shit, and I even beforehand tell myself, don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything stupid. Lo and behold, as I'm walking away, it just comes right out. Nuggets for all. What? Nuggets for all? What does that even mean? Man, I tell you, I was kicking myself. I'm still kicking myself. That was such an idiot thing to say. Like, what does that even mean? Nuggets for all. But I think what I meant to say was nuggets for life. But for some reason, my mouth didn't, connect with the brain and saying what I actually wanted to say. It just popped out. Nuggets for all. So nuggets for all, y'all. Nuggets for all. Yeah, let's go with that. But it was really great to meet them and Tamar Bates, and to get to know them a little bit more. So hopefully I'll be able to get to know them, if not some more of the team on Tuesday when I go. I'm going to try to stick around after the game and try to see if I can't get an interview myself with them. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on some wood, salt over the shoulder. So tonight's game now, the Nuggets were playing the disastrous freaking Timberwolves, trying to be positive, but you Timberwolves are not making it very easy to be positive. Oh, man, I don't know about you, but the Timberwolves grind my gears like no other team except for maybe OKC. But at least OKC, they've got a decent, they'll have a good fan now and then that is pretty humble and, sends some respect for the Nuggets. But they're pretty arrogant. The fan base is pretty arrogant. The players are very arrogant. And I get it. You have a very good team and you won the chip and you're able to maintain all your players. Not one is getting traded. You have the exact same team. You are running it back 100%. Your championship team, you're running it back in the next seasons. So I got to admit, I am jealous. I'm very jealous that they are the first ones after to be able to do that. Although I think the Celtics also did that last year. They ran it back 100%. But then it caught up with them at the end, with Tatum getting that Achilles blowout. So, but yeah, Timberwolves, man, I cannot stand the Timberwolves. I will admit, I was rooting for them against OKC because I hated OKC that much. We didn't play the Timberwolves this season. For the first time in postseason, we didn't play the Timberwolves. We would have had we actually won game 4 and 5 like we were supposed to. But we didn't, and so I was actually kind of rooting for the Timberwolves to go to their first finals game. But that didn't happen, and they got blown out, worse than we got blown out. And, it just kind of shows that the Timberwolves were very much built only to take out the Nuggets. Maybe a little bit of the Lakers, and they did a good job against the Warriors, but that's only because we all know Steph wasn't there, so that's why they won. But, Timberwolves tonight, they beat the Nuggets 94-83. They almost had a blowout, like a huge blowout. I know this is still a blowout, but they almost had a huge blowout. They almost had a 20-point blowout. It was like 17, and then Nuggets got it down to 8, and then it went back up. So let's get down into here. We had the stats here. Hunter Tyson had 13 points within 29 minutes. He had 7 rebounds. The first game, he actually had a double-double, which I know gets a little overlooked because of the shot percentage that he had, which was not very good. And we have that yet again. He shot 5 for 14 tonight, 35%. And what I've heard along with other podcasts and everything is that Hunter hasn't met a shot he didn't think he can make. And that's just like his confidence is very much up there. He is taking them. He's not second guessing. Like sometimes we see Christian Brown, right? Second guessing. He passes it, even though he might have a good layup or bucket or something, he ends up second guessing it and he passes it over to someone else. Hunter doesn't do that. He is very unapologetically just going to shoot it regardless. And most times he is missing, obviously, 5 for 14. Good Lord. But he did make enough to make 13 points, which was the tied. That was tied for the second most points tonight by a Nugget. The most was Spencer Jones, who did not have a good first game, but he did have a very good game tonight. He had 19 points in 26 minutes, and he shot 8 for 12. So he had a 66.7 percentage, which was the same as Harrison, our center, the Australian guy. And Spencer also made 3 for 6 in 3. Hunter Tyson did 2 for 5, so 40% there. And then Hunter Tyson did make his only free throw that he went to the line for, whereas Spencer Jones did not. Hunter Tyson had 1 turnover, same as Spencer Jones. Harrison had 2 turnovers. I think the most turnovers was by Liddell, who just did not have a good night tonight. He was very iffy tonight. I think I might be selling that stock. But we have Tyson was 1 personal foul. He was a -9. However, Spencer Jones had 5 personal fouls and was a -16. Dang. DaRon Holmes, the second, had 2 personal fouls, was a -5, 0 turnovers. He never went to the line, but he did have 2 for 5 and 3 for 6 from field. He had 8 points and 6 rebounds in his 26 minutes. See, Harrison had 10 points in the 23 minutes he was on there with 5 rebounds. And that's actually one of my big issues right now with Harrison is that he's our center. He's a big 7-footer. And yet the leading rebounder is still Hunter Tyson. What? I don't understand that. Like, dude, you're the 7-footer. You should be the one racking up the rebounds. What's going on? Why are you not racking up rebounds? Why am I looking at a 10 for 5 game instead of a 10 for 10 game? Right? Harrison needs to do better. If you're going to be on the Nuggets and you're going to be a backup center, you got to have more productivity on the rebounding end. That is your biggest job. That and holding the pick and rolls, right? So, like, Harrison needs to do better. Beekman was not very good at all. Our point guard tonight, her starting point guard, I should say, he had 20 minutes and only made 4 points. He had 1 rebound, 10 assists. So he did do some good stuff with assisting. He had 1 steal, but he was 0 for 5 from field, 0 for 1 from 3. The only points he got was from making his free throws, which he made all 4. He had 2 turnovers. 1 personal foul was a -8. Tamar Bates, who was on the bench, he got 18 minutes and made 13 points. I don't know why he was on the bench. I would have played him as a starter. He deserves to be a starter. I mean, he's our newest two-way. Like, get him more minutes there. He needs to be practicing as much as possible. I want Tamar Bates to see more minutes than Hunter did last season. That's what I would like to see. So Tamar Bates had 13 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. He was 6 for 16 from field, 0 for 7 from 3. So not very good at 3. He needs to be better with that. I know he probably already knows that. 1 for 1 in free throws. He had 1 turnover, 1 personal foul, was a -4. Curtis Jones, who had a really good first game, did not have such a good game in this one, but it still was decent. He had 10 points in 19 minutes, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. 3 for 6 in the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 in free throws. He had 2 turnovers, 7 personal fouls. So apparently you don't foul out in Summer League. They just let you keep on fouling and you don't foul out. Apparently, it's very difficult to foul out. And he was a +3. He was our only plus tonight. Can you imagine? We only had 1 plus, and that was Curtis Jones. He was only a +3. And then D. Williams actually had a decent defensive game. He only made 3 points. He had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, but he had 2 steals. Spencer Jones also had 2 steals too. But then he had also 3 blocks. He was 1 for 4 from field, 0 for 1 and 3, 1 for 2 in free throws. He had 0 turnovers, 1 personal foul. He was a 0. But the main scorer tonight was Shannon Jr. on the Minnesota, and then also Rob Dillingham, who had 15 points. So Shannon had 24 and 7 rebounds, 3 assists, played 28 minutes. Dillingham played 29, had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, Win tonight from the DNVR said that they should have that if you play in the postseason, if you play playoffs, you shouldn't be allowed to play in Summer League. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, you've already shown yourself, you've already proven that you can play in the post. So why are we having you play against people trying to prove themselves already? You've already proven yourself. Like, obviously, that if anything, that was just to show that the Minnesota has the Nuggets number yet again. So first quarter, the Timberwolves won 25-20. Second quarter, 27-28. Third quarter, Nuggets won 23-18. And then the fourth quarter, almost, then it was tied, but it went to Minnesota eventually with 24-22. Again, that last final score was 94-83. So big takeaways from this is going to be just the fact that DaRon Holmes still looks a little bit green. Obviously, it's his second game back from official game, you can say, from being injured. So he needs a little bit more time to warm up to that spot. But, one thing that Adam of DNVR said that I will agree with, and I think a lot of other people have also said it out too, is that DaRon Holmes needs to be more aggressive. He is such a nice guy. I mean, like, you talk to him and you're like, okay, I'm all in on you. But there is a level of, you got to be more aggressive on the court. Be as aggressive as possible. And there was one time that I think that he tried to be aggressive and he got a flagrant call called on him in the first game. And it was when you have the ball, he had the possession, he had the ball, and then he did that, right? If any Nuggets fan remembers in the playoffs against OKC, J-Dub did that exact same freaking move to Jamal Murray, and it was called a normal basketball play. Then Aaron Gordon did it to SGA, and it was ruled a flagrant one. And here we are again. The Nuggets did it again, and it was called a flagrant one. How can the Nuggets not ever win against this call? It is always called a common, regular basketball play when it's against the Nuggets, but when the Nuggets do it, it's always a flagrant. I don't get it. What's going on there? Please, someone tell me in the chat or in the comment section of why the Nuggets are on the bad end of this move all the time, but the other teams always get a pass over. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I need some clarification on this. And so I will agree. Holmes needs to be more aggressive. He definitely 100% needs to be more aggressive. But I mean, it was his first game, and now it's his second game. Like, got to give him some time. I know there's only 4 games that they're going to be playing. Let's not get our hopes up. It's the Summer League. All we're looking for right now is just how well they are playing, and if they win, great. But we want to see how these players are going to be playing so that we can kind of gauge how they're going to be playing in the preseason, let alone regular season. So I'm very excited for DaRon Holmes. He is going to be a great bench player for us right now. I will note, though, when I was watching him walk around, there was something very similar in the way that he moves to that of Michael Porter Jr. They both have the same kind of movements. It was weird. Like, it was almost like he watched Michael Porter Jr. walk all the time and he just kind of adapted that. I don't know how he's walked before he met Michael Porter Jr., but he moves so much similar to him. It was kind of eerie. I was almost like, did Michael Porter Jr. get traded? Or did he just, like, grow his hair out? I mean... It was interesting to see how similar the two of them move. But, if this whole thing with Valanciunas blows up, worst case scenario, obviously we still have P-Watt, we still have Aaron Gordon, and we still have Zeke. I know none of us like Zeke as the 5, but we still have him. We still have him. He's still in the Nuggets. Gotta go Zeke the freak. Let's come on now. Someone doesn't want him, please. But Zeke's still on the team. So we have that. And we have now also DaRon Holmes, who can play the 4 and the 5. That's pretty awesome. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Now, when I watched that first game, in the on the court, there was Julian Strawther, who obviously is going to show up. He is from Vegas, lives in Vegas, so obviously he's already here. I think he's only going back to Denver at, like, on the weekends or whatever. So he's already here in Vegas. Obviously, he's going to show up for Summer League. I actually am surprised that he's not playing Summer League, because you got Hunter Tyson playing his third season in Summer League. I would kind of wish that Julian Strawther would play a little bit too. Don't tell him I said that, but, I think he kind of needs to play. Same thing with Pickett, which let me get to Pickett. So Julian Strawther was there, sitting next to P-Watt. P-Watt came in actually afterwards. They were all both sitting next to Ben Tenser and John Wallace and David Adelman. And then there was I don't know who this guy is, but he looks very much like, Aaron Gordon's smaller brother or whatever. I don't know if he has a smaller brother. I don't know about that, but he looks like Timu Aaron Gordon. And then there was a couple of there was a Blazer player from the Blazers. I think it was Banton or something like that. And then I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but he used to be in the Sacramento Kings and then got traded to the Bulls. The white dude with the red hair. I forgot his name, but he was also there. Horta, something like that. I apologize if I'm butchering his name and I forgot his name, but he was there. And then on the other side, so they were all opposite side of the Nuggets. On the same side as the Nuggets, in the actual stands with everyone like us normal folk, there was Colin Gillespie. Former Nugget himself, Colin Gillespie, now current Sun. He was there cheering on the Nuggets, along with PJ Hall, who is also a former Nugget now. He's moved on to the Charlotte Hornets, right? And then obviously PJ Hall and Hunter Tyson are really good buds. So he's going to probably be there to cheer him on. And also, he's been with Nuggets. He knows them all, so he's going to cheer them on. And it just warmed my heart that Gillespie was there to cheer on the Nuggets as well. And then there was Pickett. Now, I don't want to read too much into this. Read what you will into it, but Pickett left early, and he was not sitting with the Nuggets. Again, he did that today. He sat with Zeke Naji, both of them away from the team. I don't know why they're distancing themselves. It doesn't sound good. I know that they did that a lot in the season too. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if there's any kind of animosity between the team and them, or if it's the hate that they feel within the fans that makes them feel like they need to distance themselves from the team. I don't know, but if any of them ever get word of my podcast or whatever, please, we want to see you with the team. I like you guys. Pickett had a great couple of games in the ending stretch of the season, especially against the Sacramento Kings. I mean, he had a triple-double. Zeke had that amazing game that he was a monster blocking shots, getting all the threes. They both had good games this past season. They're not terrible players, and I am glad that they are on the team. So, it just is a little bit interesting that they weren't sitting with the team. A little bit weird, not with P-Watt, not with Strawther, not with Gillespie, who is not even on the team, but he still supports the team. I mean, at that point, I'm almost like, can we trade Hunter Tyson for Colin Gillespie? I know you're trading for a good player, but they did get rid of Dario Sarge for an even better upgrade, and we didn't think that could happen. So it's possible. Anything's possible, but very, very interesting time spent at Summer League, and I'm very excited to go back. It was very fun, and I don't know, maybe I'll even see the last game, which is against the Clippers, but I am seeing the one against the Toronto Raptors. And the Toronto Raptors have been doing a great job in Summer League. They have a good, bench squad, even though they had that one player that during the draft didn't want to go to the Raptors, and here we are, him playing in the Raptors and showing that he can do well. So grass is always green on the other side, right? So Well, that's pretty much all I got for you on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family, and you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.